learned about Nehemiah, the book about rebuilding Jerusalem walls. God uses ordinary people like you and I to be part of His greater plans. This week, we learn about the courage of a young lady that later became the queen and saved the entire nation of Israel. Let's watch.
If you missed the lesson, here is the quick version. In 538 BC, King Cyrus told the exiled Israelites they could return to their homeland. Now, after 3 years of planning, one of their leaders, Sheshbazzar, led about 50,000 Israelites back to Jerusalem. After 70 years of exile, Jerusalem was in a bad shape. The Israelites had to rebuild their homes and God's temple. Now, rebuilding God's temple took them 20 years. Why? Remember how Israel was broken into two kingdoms? Now, the northern kingdom was afraid if Jerusalem, which is in the southern kingdom now, was rebuilt and became strong again, it would take over the northern kingdom. So they made the rebuilding very difficult. The Israelites had to get help from King Darius, the king after King Cyrus, who then declared they could rebuild the temple in peace. Ezra was a priest of Israel living in Babylon. He was an expert in teaching God's law. Fast forward 60 years from the time of King Cyrus, now the Persian Empire has a new king, King Artaxerxes. For his own reasons, King Artaxerxes sent Ezra back to Jerusalem to help the Israelites learn about God's laws again. And when Ezra arrived in Jerusalem, he freaked out. The Israelites were back to their old wicked ways again. No! He fell on his knees and cried out to God for their forgiveness. And the people saw him and they too repented from their wicked ways and turned back to God. And together, they rebuilt God's temple. Then we meet Nehemiah. He was King Artaxerxes' cupbearer, the person in charge of everything the king drank. Nehemiah heard about the terrible state Jerusalem's walls were in, so he decided to do something about it. Now, he had so much favor from King Artaxerxes that the king not only allowed him to go back, he also agreed to provide all the necessary supplies. Again, the northern kingdom tried to stop Nehemiah and his men from building the walls. But Nehemiah was so focused and he prayed for God to help keep the bad people away. And the walls were rebuilt in just 52 days. Nehemiah became the governor for the Israelites and Ezra became their priest.